Far beneath the deepest waves of the sea, where sunlight fades into shimmering blue twilight, stood the magnificent palace of the Sea King. Its walls were made of coral, its towers of gleaming shells, and its windows of the clearest amber.
Oh, to see the world above, where the sunlight
Sea flowers swayed in the currents like living jewels. Fishes of every color darted through the gardens, and pearls lay scattered like stars upon the ocean floor. In this wondrous palace lived the Sea King's 6 daughters, each more graceful than the last. But the youngest, Princess Nerina, had beauty unlike any other mermaid in the kingdom. Her skin shone like pale moonlight, and her hair flowed behind her like a stream of liquid silver. Her eyes, deep and wistful, held the mysteries of the sea. More than beauty, however, Nerina possessed a curious and gentle heart. She loved to explore shipwrecks, collect treasures, and listen to stories of the world above the waves. Nerina's grandmother, wise and ancient, often told tales of humans, their cities, their customs, and their strange lives upon land. "When you turn 15, she said, you may rise above the waves and see the human world, but you must never reveal yourself. Humans fear what they do not understand." Nerina listened with glowing eyes. She imagined grand cathedrals, lantern-lit streets, and forests filled with birds that could fly. Her sisters visited the surface one by one, returning with tales of shooting stars, music drifting from passing ships, and sunsets the color of fire. Each time they spoke, her heart beat faster. At last, the day of her 15th birthday arrived. The entire palace celebrated. Nerina wore a crown of shimmering white pearls, and her grandmother gently kissed her forehead. "Swim carefully, my child. The world above is beautiful, but it is also full of dangers." Nerina promised she would be cautious. Her tail gleaming like polished opal, she rose toward the surface. The water brightened. Shadows dissolved. Then, in a burst of silver foam, she broke through. Before her spread a vast sky, blushing pink and gold with the sunset. A warm breeze brushed her cheeks. Birds wheeled overhead, crying out joyously. In the distance drifted a ship adorned with colorful flags. Lanterns glowed along its deck, and music rang across the waves. "Humans," Nerina breathed. Curiosity drew her closer, closer until she could see them dancing. Their laughter filled the air. But one stood apart, a young prince with dark eyes, warm smile, and posture noble yet kind. His face held strength and gentleness, and Nerina felt a strange flutter in her heart.
Happy birthday, Prince!
The humans celebrated his birthday with fireworks that burst in shimmering fire flowers across the sky. Nerina gasped as the sparks reflected on the waves like falling stars. But then the wind shifted. Clouds gathered, black and heavy. Waves rose like snarling beasts. Thunder shook the sky.
All hands, secure the ropes!
The ship rocked violently. Lanterns shattered. The mast cracked. A great wave crashed over the deck, sweeping sailors into the boiling sea. The prince fought to save his crew, but the storm was merciless. When the ship broke apart, he was hurled into the water, sinking fast. Without hesitation, Nerina dove after him. Strong currents pulled at her, but she swam harder, faster, refusing to let him fall into the deep. She reached him just as he lost consciousness. Wrapping her arms around him, she lifted him toward the surface. Through the night, she held him above the waves, though her own strength trembled. At dawn, the storm passed. Nerina carried the prince to the shore, laying him upon warm sand. She brushed the wet hair from his face, marveling at his beauty. Humans approached. Afraid of being seen, she slipped behind a rock, watching anxiously. A young maiden found the prince and called for help. Slowly, he awoke, but Nerina remained hidden. When he opened his eyes and smiled faintly at the maiden who stood nearby, something inside Nerina cracked like a fragile shell. He thinks she saved him. He does not know I was there. With a breaking heart, she slid back into the sea. Life under the sea went on, but Nerina remained quiet and sad. Her sisters tried to cheer her with pearls and songs. Her grandmother stroked her hair and said gently, "You are young, my child. Your heart will heal." But Nerina knew it would not easily. She loved the prince more deeply than she could ever admit. She dreamed of walking beside him, hearing his voice without waves between them. One day her sisters brought her a treasure, a statue raised from a sunken ship. It resembled the prince, carved in white stone. Nerina placed it in her garden of coral and sang to it every night. At last, Nerina swam to the farthest edge of the kingdom, where the sea glowed dark green and twisted plants grew like grasping fingers. In the deepest crevice stood a cavern lit by eerie purple light. The sea witch lived there, a creature half woman, half octopus, with eyes like glowing embers.
I know what brings you here.
The witch hissed as Nerina entered. "You seek a human soul." "I wish only to be with the prince, to walk beside him," Nerina said softly. The witch laughed, a sound like cracking bones. "You can become human. I can give you legs as graceful as any princess, but the transformation will feel as though a sword cuts through your tail, and each step you take will sting like walking on sharp knives." Nerina paled, but did not retreat. "And," the witch continued, "you must give me your voice, your songs, your most precious gift." "My voice?" Nerina whispered. "Without it, you cannot reveal your identity. But if the prince loves you, if he chooses you as his bride, you shall gain a human soul and remain human forever. Fail, and you will turn into sea foam when the sun rises on his wedding day." Nerina's heart pounded, but her love was stronger than fear. "I accept," she said. The witch prepared a potion that glowed like liquid fire. "Drink this at dawn by the shore, and remember, once you become human, you can never return to the sea." Nerina nodded. Tears filled her eyes as she surrendered her voice. With a cruel smile, the witch snatched it away, sealing it in a dark shell. At dawn, Nerina swam to the shore where she had once saved the prince. She drank the potion. Pain tore through her like lightning. Her tail split, reshaping into graceful legs. She collapsed on the sand, trembling and voiceless. When she awoke, the prince stood over her, his eyes full of wonder. "Who are you?" he asked gently. Nerina could not answer, but her beauty and grace touched him. He offered her clothes and brought her to his palace. There she learned to walk, each step burning, but she hid the pain, smiling softly whenever he smiled. The prince grew fond of the quiet, mysterious girl who had washed ashore. He treated her with warmth, often saying, "Your eyes remind me of someone I owe my life." Hope blossomed within Nerina. Perhaps he would remember. Perhaps he would love her. But one day, news arrived that the neighboring kingdom's princess, the same maiden who had found him on the beach, was to visit.
There is someone I dream of. A girl who saved my life. Her voice was like the sea.
When the prince saw her again, he believed she was the one who had saved him from the storm. He knelt before her, declaring his love. Nerina stood silently behind them, her heart breaking with each word. She tried to cry out, to tell him the truth, but she had no voice. Preparations for the royal wedding began. Nerina walked through the halls like a ghost, every step painful, her soul trembling like a fragile flame. On the night before the wedding, her sisters rose from the sea, their long hair darkened with sorrow. "Nerina," they called from the waves, "we have traded our own hair to the sea witch for a chance to save you. Here, a dagger. If you strike the prince before sunrise and let his blood fall upon your legs, your tail will return. You can come home." Nerina stared at the dagger. Her hands shook violently. Could she kill the man she loved? That night, in the moonlit chamber where the prince slept beside his bride-to-be, Nerina crept inside. She raised the dagger. Her tears fell on his chest. He murmured softly in his dreams. He looked so peaceful, so full of trust. Nerina dropped the dagger. "I cannot," she thought. "Better I perish than harm him." She kissed his brow gently and fled into the night. As dawn approached, she ran to the shore, her steps burning fiercely. Her sisters watched from the waves, sobbing. Nerina climbed onto a rock, feeling her body grow light, dissolving into foam. "Goodbye," she whispered, without a voice. But just as the sun touched the horizon, a warm wind lifted her. Instead of dissolving, she rose like mist into the sky. Soft voices surrounded her. She opened her eyes to see luminous beings with translucent wings, the daughters of the air. "You have chosen love over life. Because of your sacrifice, you shall not become sea foam. You shall join us." "Who are you?" Nerina thought. "We are spirits of kindness," they replied. "We earn our souls through good deeds. Now you shall do the same. For every act of love, you will rise higher, until at last you gain an eternal soul." Below her, the waves shimmered. The prince and his bride sailed away, unaware of the spirit who watched over them with tender love. Nerina smiled. Her voice returned, not as words, but as music carried by the wind. And so the Little Mermaid became a gentle spirit of air, floating between sea and sky, bringing cool breezes, saving lost sailors, and whispering comfort to lonely children. Her love had not ended, it had transformed.